Hey everybody, welcome to this Caregiver Coffee. My name is Matthew Estrad. I'm a gerontologist in St. Tammany Parish, and I've been partnering with the Council on Aging in St. Tammany for over 10 years. All of that time as the Caregiver Support Group facilitator. And then after that, about half of the time of those 10 years, bringing you Caregiver Coffee, just videos with various tips on healthy aging and living and caregiving. Today's episode will continue something I started in the previous one, and that is ideas for action in 2026. So if you're watching this one and you haven't seen that one, go to you can you certainly you are free to watch part two before part one. But I encourage you to either start with part one or just, make sure you go back after this one. So, and this is, if you don't get to do that, this is really just kind of, these are thoughts that I've reflected on that, since many people are excited about a clean slate, a new year, and, we call them resolutions and we ask everybody what, or many people ask, what are your resolutions? Not everybody has one, but these are encouraging tips that I hope that you'll at least grab a hold of a handful, if not all of them, and just kind of doing them in your way to improve your future. Because if we plan it, there's a better chance. I'm not saying we can't guarantee anything in life, right? But there's a better chance that if we're prudent, we plan ahead, we're able to have more influence on the future. So hope you'll go back to that one. Before we continue with this part two, just a very briefer than before, mention of the caregiver support groups. We meet every Tuesday of the year, basically, at least 4 Tuesdays of the year, sometimes the fifth Tuesday of the month. And we meet from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The first Tuesday of the month, we're in person in Slidell. The second Tuesday, we are strictly on computer. We're virtual. You can join using your phone, or your computer or your tablet or even your landline phone. The third Tuesday, we're in person in Covington. And the fourth and sometimes the fifth Tuesday of the month, we are back on virtual. So many different modalities to reach us based on your caregiving situation, whether you can leave the home, whether you can leave your loved ones safely and come see us. That's great. If you can't do that, we have this option. Maybe you can, hopefully you can get away for an hour, even if you're living with the person that you're caring for, to be able to, speak frankly, or even just listen, even if you can't, even if you're just putting in some earbuds or AirPods or whatever, so you can kind of like even just listen is fine as long as, you introduce yourself and we know who you are from that introduction. But anyways, I just highly encourage that. You can find out more by going to the Coast website, coastseniors.org. Go to navigate over to caregiver resources, and then you'll see my picture somewhere in there, and then you can download the most recent flyer. So we publish a new flyer slash calendar every 2 months where we update the days, the dates, the locations, and the Zoom number and Zoom link. They're always the same, but we do that because like coming up in the month of February is Mardi Gras, and we won't meet on Fat Tuesday. So that will be something different in our pattern. That's a good reason. Also, if you join our email list, which you can join from that flyer, you'll get reminders of that we'll be meeting on a particular day. Like that morning, I send an email out, and then you also be able to follow along with any other announcements. Sometimes we do a caregiver lunch a couple of times a year. You can join us for that, and you'll find out about it through that email. All right, let's get started. All right, with part two of these things to think about, things to consider doing in 2026, starting this month. And like I said in the previous video, I encourage you to, for these ideas that you do like and those that are applicable to you, set some dates for yourself. I'm going to start, and then and if there's an end date, or maybe it's just like a check-in date for yourself. And I didn't mention this before, but think about getting an accountability partner. Like, get your handful of things, um, and have coffee with a friend and say, these are things I'm going to work on. And they may have some different things, and y'all might have some overlap, but y'all can help each other, and talk every once in a while and say, hey, how are you doing on home maintenance, which is something we talked about in the previous video. All right, so we are so the last thing we ended on making your home safe in the previous video. So here is to make a notebook or to find an app on your smartphone or both. So you're looking for something to help keep all of this information. Like, we're drowning in information, it seems like, going to doctor's visits, having, having these appointments, interviewing this caregiver organization, or, finding out what Coast offers, or just setting a schedule for the week, in the month, or planning menus and what you're going to eat, and all these. So lots of things. There's lots of things involved, right? So Notebook can help you get organized with that. And something I've talked about in a previous video in 2025 is how to set up a notebook. So I won't go over all of that at all, but I'll just mention, you have your notebook and you skip the first several pages. That's going to be your table of contents, and then you put page numbers on every other page on the page, the rest of the pages in the notebook. And then as you use the notebook, you write in the table of contents, except you're doing it by topic. Like, you're writing auto repair and you're writing page 7, and then maybe you fill that one up. So later on, you're on page 16 for home maintenance too. So it's more of like I guess, an index, instead of saying it like it's a true table of contents. But it helps you find all these different topics that are related, and can help you save some time and all that information. Let's see. You can find it under the video where we talked about getting organized. Next is hurricane season. Okay, so we look at hurricane season every June through November. We start preparing in May, but what if you started in January, February, March? Like, looking at it, just checking all your supplies so you're not in any kind of rush. I've done videos about hurricane preparation, and the Louisiana Governor's Office of Homeland Security has awesome resources, probably the best website and resources in the country on things to do. So, and it's a long list if you're starting from scratch. So I encourage you to look at that and refresh on, like, the gallons of water you want per person per day, et cetera, and all the different things. So you have them stowed away for this season. Maybe there's supplies that you want to refresh. You can now use up some of the supplies. Maybe it's food or water, and then refresh or replace it, when sooner, in May perhaps. So consider that. And if you're not in Louisiana under threat of hurricane, there are natural disasters that can reach all of us, whether they're wildfires or tornadoes. And sometimes we have warnings, we have advanced warning, like with a hurricane, and sometimes we don't. So you'll want to account for that as well. The next one is to return to church. And I'm not going to talk about my faith, although you can easily find me online because I do some ministry stuff. I'm not going to tell you where to go to church, but I'm going to encourage you, to get back to church if you've not, or if you are, to get involved, to see if you're a busy caregiver, you may not be able to do that, or that might be just the thing that you need for some extra resilience and strength, and feeling that sense of community with others that can help you and you can help them. So again, I'm not telling you where to go, but if you're unchurched, if you've stopped going, I want to encourage you to return, um, that, because there are just so many benefits. And if you must know, there are scientific benefits for belonging to a faith community, and that's not why to go, but there are extra benefits, I feel, and it's all evidence-based: lower depression, increased purpose, resilience, There's just, I can go on and on, but just know that there's a lot of positive evidence, even in the scientific literature. I've done presentations on for that. So next is strength training. And so I've talked about this. I talk about this every once in a while. I encourage folks to get a coach to join a gym if they can. There are of course gyms and workout facilities that are astronomical in how much they cost. Um, so you have to watch out for that. There are some that might be covered by your health insurance, especially if you have a certain Medicare type. Some of those have free memberships or initiation, waive the initiation fee. And there might be other benefits. And then there are some that are just already very inexpensive because it's a no frills type gym, or they are a nonprofit, so you can go to them and it's not going to be as much, and you have access to a pool perhaps. And just like any kind of physical activity is going to be very good. Um, and if you're getting some coaching or advice or consulting, that's even better because it's personalized for you, for your condition, for your strength, for your health. And you get someone who can kind of help you so that you're making progress, but you're also not going to hurt yourself or just be overly sore, unnecessarily sore, or even overtrained. So I recently in December started training with a group, not just with one coach. Well, it's one coach, but it's in a group setting rather than a one-on-one. So, and that's cool because I really like that because I'm getting some good coaching. I'm also getting encouragement from the others. We just kind of like work out in a group. So I encourage you to do that because it is just, I'll be honest, it's really just hard to do it for most people, including myself, when you're just working out on your own. I mean, there are some people out there that are highly motivated, but if you're having trouble getting motivated, that's one way to try. That's one way to try getting motivated. And you also losing my train of thought. Um, when your loved one, if you are taking care of a loved one, especially if they have a cognitive impairment or dementia, uh, any of the types, they may not be. We want to keep them active too, and they may not work out for you. They may not even do like chair exercises and things like that. They may not do it for you, but they may do that for a trainer who works with them because they're going to get the guidance, and then here's somebody new who they want to make a good impression for, honestly. So that is one tip to think about. We're not just talking about ourselves, we're talking about taking care of our loved ones, whether they have dementia or not. So thanks for hanging around while I got back on track mentally there. Support groups, whether it is our Coast support group that meets on Tuesday evenings or another group in the community because you can't make our time. We meet at 6 p.m. Sometimes it's difficult for people. Let me know, and I'll help you find other support groups, both in person and virtually, that are different days, different times. They're just so important. I see wonderful things happen, and it's why I've been doing it for over 10 years, is because I see how effective it is, and I get a lot of joy out of seeing the light bulbs go off, seeing the connections being made between caregivers. So do consider that and let me know if I can help you. So I may, and and getting in contact with me, my information is on the flyer that we publish every 2 months. So my email address and my phone number is on there. So that's a way to get in touch with me. Rarely do I get an alert of a comment. So like if you leave a comment about this video, um, it don't count on me getting it just because of the way that the different notifications work. And this is really the Coast channel. So just be aware of that. You can find me by getting that flyer, and you can also call Coast directly, and they should be able to give you my information. They have my permission to give out my information. Next is to watch the Coast videos that we've made. So, we have roughly 5 years of Coast videos. Now, most of those, the first 4 years, have been primarily on Facebook, but you can go to the videos like the video category on the Coast Facebook page, and you can see lots and lots of videos. And what also started doing the last year was uploading these to the YouTube channel, and even tried to create playlists based on category. So, and I've also redone a lot of videos that I have done on Facebook are now on, I've redone the topic on the YouTube channel. So you may just want to stick with the YouTube channel and look at those and not feel overwhelmed, hopefully, but just kind of look at it and see, okay, what am I being called to work on this month, on this week, on this day, and just trying to slowly they prioritize the things that are most pertinent to you and your family. And the last thing that I'll mention is this year, if you or a loved one are having a slowed thinking or increased forgetfulness, um, maybe you've gotten lost, I want to encourage you to help get your loved one the primary care physician or yourself, um, and talk with your family about it. The reason is that it could be something other than Alzheimer's disease or the other diseases that can cause the group of symptoms we call dementia. It could be something else. It could be sleep apnea. It could be poor nutrition. Um, it could be an infection. There's a myriad of things that it could be. And if your doctor can figure it out, you can help reverse that because it's not a true dementia. If there is no other explanation for the fogginess, and the confusion and not being able to do some of the things that you used to do, then that's still a wonderful time to find out because the coping and the adaptation starts then. And it does not mean that, okay, we got to take the car keys away, or you can't volunteer anymore, or you can't work anymore. It is the adaptation starts today. Like, how do we live a full life with these things that are going on? What medications might possibly help if there are behavioral symptoms? And are we catching it early enough and at an age and at a certain age where maybe there are some therapies that can be tried with the right doctors. So I want to highly encourage you. It is so scary to even just think like that. It's like unthinkable, right? Like I could have a dementia, but if you can summon the courage and the support of your family to do that, you are going to you are taking control. While we can't control the disease, we can take control of the things that we can take control of, the things that we can influence, right? So I encourage you to do that. It is scary, but there is a huge, huge payoff if you can do that. So, and it starts with your PCP and being honest with them and letting them do the screenings, going for a neurology visit, referral if that's what they recommend. They may not. And remember, they're going to rule out things because it might be something that they can catch. So, a neuropsychologist that I know told me about 10% of the patients that come to him, they're able to find some other explanation. Whether it's the vitamins or the infection or thyroid or, medications that need to be changed because they're causing a brain fog. So, lots of things. So, please consider that and I'll be thinking about you and hoping that you were able to do that if you find yourself in that situation. All right, so that's a kind of a heavy one. Didn't mean to end on that one, but I think that's a really special, meaningful one that I hope that everyone takes to heart. So I really do hope that you have an awesome 2026. I hope that these tips in this part two and in the previous part one were helpful for you. If they are, you can I still encourage you to like the even though I may or may not see the comment, please leave it because I may see it eventually. Like the video, share it with others, not so we get clicks, but just so that we can make a positive impact on the folks in our parish and beyond. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for supporting the Council on Aging in St. Tammany. Take care.